Hello, Barendipitous here with another video for the TTRPG shelf. This is a physical game I got over Christmas called Mazes. Now, I have gotten, over the past year or so, I have definitely gotten purchased a few other digital tabletop RPGs, but I think it takes a certain kind of game for me to be interested in getting a physical book, like if the book looks especially interesting or things like that. Um, so Mazes was a game I had my eye on for a little while because I really like the concepts, some of the concepts of it. This game is inspired by some of those old classic dark fantasy games. I think in the tabletop RPG space, it's called OSR or Old School Renaissance, where a bunch of games that have been made, a bunch of games like Shadow Dark or Morkborg, or maybe Morkborg not so much, but Mazes and others have been, or Cairn and others have been inspired by old school like Dungeons and Dragons or old school TTRPGs from the 70s and 80s, and just kind of like trying to recapture some of that, right? You can see the atmosphere they're kind of going for. Mazes, they're talking about the dark dungeons and labyrinths that you go in and everything. Lots of cool information in here about monsters and how to run a game and things like that. I haven't really sunk my teeth into this deeply, but what really intrigued me the most was how rolling works, right? There are only 4 rolls. I've kind of noticed that I've become sort of drawn to games that really that simplify things, but also have a lot of depth to that simplicity, right? There's some really cool, really neat mechanics that can be fun to explore. So there's 4 roles: Paragon, Vanguard, Fighter, and Sentinel. They explain what those 4 roles are. Each role only has 1 dice. So if you are a Paragon, you only use a D4. If you're a Vanguard, you only use a D6. D8 and D10. That's it. That's the only dice you use in that roll, and what's really interesting to me anyway is how some of these rolls work. So the sort of the rolls that you make are based on either books, which is let's see. Testing knowledge or perception or mental prowess. Boots is physical movements or athletic activities, so running or dodging. Blades is testing a violent action, attacking or with a weapon or a spell or something. Bones is your resolve or resisting pain and disease. Key and crown. So basically, if you roll a 1, it's an automatic success. That is a key bonus, and then a crown is the highest number that the dice can roll. So for a D4, that's a 4. For a D10, that's a 10. When you roll the crown in your dice, what happens is based on the current there's a darkness level. And then when you're rolling crown, if things are currently bright, you succeed. If your darkness is currently bleak, you fail. While it is torchlit, you succeed, but you don't have to pay a cost. So there's kind of like a torchlight sort of a mechanic going on. But what's really interesting is that I'm sure there's a chart in here somewhere that kind of show. Here we go. So, if you're trying to do a books check, you succeed if you roll a 2 or a 3. If you're rolling a boots check, you succeed if you roll a 3, 4, or 5. You can see the rest there, right? So so if you combine that with the rolls that you take, so if you are a Paragon and you only have a D4, that means that you are pretty good at books. You have a 50-50 chance of succeeding. You're also kind of good at boots, but you're not very good at blades, and you're especially not good at bones. You don't have as much physical capacity, for example. You can always succeed if you roll a 1, so there's always a chance to succeed. But also, depending on the situation, there's a chance to fail as well. So you can see how this kind of interacts with the other dice as well, the D6 or a D8 or a D10. You have a higher chance of succeeding in blades and bones if you have a D8 or a D10, right? So I think that's really, really neat. And then also sort of the atmosphere of this game is really cool. I'd like to run this sometime. I don't know if I will, but I'm glad to have this book. It's just really cool to kind of have games that have lots of different sorts of mechanics you can explore. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And until next time, all the best.